General Matthews scarcely looked at the soldier cleaning the Barrett 050 in then the armory's corner. Just another a task that needs to be done regularly. But when he saw the little badge on her uniform and read that he had killed at a distance of 3,200 meters, stopped right where he was. Soldier, that's not possible. No one has done a shot from that far away. The armory there was always a lot going on at Camp Liberty. Dozens of people worked on maintenance throughout the afternoon, of soldiers washing, checking, and getting their guns ready for the next day's work. General William Matthews had been on his weekly tour of inspections, strolling through the building with his usual practiced eye, taking note of the state of the equipment and the discipline of the soldiers under his command. In the far back corner of the armory, almost sat behind a row of weapon racks, hid a single person carefully taking apart a Barrett M882A sniper rifle with a 150 caliber gun. The soldier worked with the exquisite accuracy that showed years of experience. Each part is carefully cleaned and checked before being put down, put away in immaculate order. Staff Sergeant Luna Ghost Valdez had done this same thing every day over the last 8 months since I got here at Camp Liberty. Her Barrett 050 washer weapon, her duty, and in many ways her best friend during a military career that had led her to some of the most dangerous places on the world. Luna's way of dealing with weapons maintenance was almost fanatical. Every part of the Barrett was taken apart, cleaned with surgical, checked for wear and tear with precision, then put back together with the kind of most troops pay close attention to details, set aside for inspections before hiring. It took her over 3 hours each day. But Luna thought it was time well done. The Barrett M82A1 was more than not just a gun. It was a precise instrument that can hit targets reaching distances that broke the rules of physics. It weighs around 30 pounds, and it was firing sovereign 50 caliber bullets, made for long-range shooting like this. Shooting that needed not only shooting skills, but a knowledge of ballistics, meteorology, and physics that went along not just basic military training. Luna had been sent to Camp Liberty as a member of an elite sniper team, helping in actions against terrorism all across the area. Her formal job was to keep an eye on things and engage with accuracy, giving long-range fire support for missions for special operations that needed to get rid of high-value targets at very long distances. But Luna was well known far beyond the job she has now. In military circles where these incidents happened mattered, people said her name with the kind of respect that legends get. Not because of who she is, or Luna was silent, almost like a leader. Not seen in typical social situations, but because of what she could do with a shoot-a-gun at range that most people couldn't even see well. General Matthews had been walking with his help through the armory. Lieutenant Colonel Harrison is talking about when it comes to ordinary administrative tasks. Something caught his eye out of the corner. The soldier in the corner was busy, with the kind of careful planning that showed serious professional skill. But what caught his eye was the collection of little badges and pins on her outfit that show her qualifications. The typical assortment of clothing was worn by soldiers, military medals, unit patches, and rank emblems of rank, insignia. They showed their military specialization in the workplace. But Luna's, the uniform included extra marks that General Matthews thought it was interesting. There he didn't have any qualification badges, no unit patches from groups he has heard of but never been a part of, worked with, and a few little pins. That showed that he had received specialized training, couldn't figure out right away. "Go on, soldier," General Matthews said, remarked as he got closer to Luna's location, using the usual term that meant his inspection was normal and didn't tell her to stop working. Luna looked up for a moment and nodded. General with the right military kindness, and went back to work. The answer was professional, but not very helpful. What would be expected from the soldier was intent on finishing a vital job. General Matthews was preparing to go on his excursion when he saw one specific badge on Luna's clothing. It was modest, and not very interesting to casual observation, but the writing made. He stopped in the middle of his step and read it again, to make sure he knew what he was. 200 meters confirmed kill. The statistics didn't add up. Matthews had been in the military for more than 25 years, had worked with some of the best units in the U.S. military, and had never met someone who said they did have killed someone for sure at that far away. The longest confirmed sniper shot in. He thought that was the longest in military history, much shorter than 3,200 minutes. That's impossible, soldier. No one has made a shot from that far away. Luna looked up from her task, her face displaying a little surprise. At the general's comment, she looked where he was looking and saw the badge he was reading, and knew what caught his attention. Sir, the several people saw the shot and confirmed it, and recorded by the mission command. All the documents are classified, however there was some involvement as shown. General Matthews looked at the young woman, who had just said matter-of-factly that they had produced what would be the longest confirmed kill shot in the military, the past. Luna looked to be in her late 20s with the kind of calmness that made it seem like someone who can handle a lot of stress scenarios. But there was nothing regarding her looks that made her seem superhuman abilities. I want to see your service, soldier. I want to know how to record and someone shoots 200 meters, when most snipers think 1,500 meters is an extreme involvement. Sir, here is my full service record, classed above my level of clearance to talk about, but I can give you a general details about my training and qualifications if that would help. Lieutenant Colonel Harrison, who had been listening to the talk, stepped forward with great awe, his tablet. In general, I can get her basic service information if you want to look it over. Do it. Harrison got into the personnel database and started reading Luna's basic database, and started to read Luna's fundamental. What he uncovered was military information, a group of specialist schools, advanced training programs, and unit tasks that made a picture of someone who had served in the military, not at all routine, sir. Staff Sergeant Valdez got his degree from the Army Sniper School with the best. She has the highest scores in her class for marksmanship. Finished advanced classes in long-range firing, with precision, ballistic calculation, and specialization reconnaissance. Her unit's duties entail going on missions with the 75th Ranger Regiment, Delta Force help operations, and secret missions with groups that aren't listed in the standard database. General Matthews took in this knowledge while studying Luna, who had kept working on her Barrett during the whole talk. Her attitude stayed calm and professional, but he was starting to get the hang of it. He was staring at someone whose powers went much beyond the average soldier. Valdez, tell me how someone makes a shot of 200 meters. What are that kind of technical requirements? Luna sat down to conduct some precise shooting, the bolt carrier group she had been cleaning, and stared right at General Matthews. Her answer showed the kind of technical knowledge that showed serious knowledge instead of casual knowledge of shooting at vast distances. Sir, 3,200-meter engagement needs understanding a number of factors that change the path of a bullet. Over long environmental considerations include distances, wind speed and direction, at different air densities, at different elevations, temperature differences and barometric fluctuations in pressure. Ballistic things to think about include bullet drop, pay, spin drift effects, and the Coriolis effect that happens because of Earth turning. She stopped to see if the general wanted more technical information. Then the shot also needs a full comprehension of the goals, certain variety of movement patterns using more than one measurement to make an estimate methods, and the capacity to sustain staying in the same spot for a long time while waiting for the best environmental situations. General Matthews knew he was hearing someone who understood long shot at a level that was higher than most of the teachers he had. Met-bucketing the theory was different from taking a shot that would set a world record. Valdez, tell me about the 3,200-meter fight. What were the circumstances and how did you get the shot? Luna's, she grew more careful with her words and took a quick look at Lieutenant Colonel Harrison. Before you answer, sir, the engagement happened during AA classified operation. I can give general information regarding the technical parts, but not the exact details of the mission, goal, and place are above my level of clearance to talk without proper permission. Harrison looked at his tablet and confirmed what Luna said. In general, Her deployment records suggest that there were several operations that were classified, and her full "we need special access to the file that don't have it here." But General Matthews wasn't happy with. He'd run into bureaucratic limits, met anything that made him think what he thought was possible in modern warfare, and he wanted to find out. "Valdez, I'm giving you permission to talk about the technical parts of that engagement. I want to know how. The U.S. military has become better to the point that 3,200 meters Luna thought about the shots that were feasible. Thoroughly consider the general's request before responding. Military rules said that to keep her safe from classified information, but talking about technical skills could be okay if it helped real military reasons."
Sir, the fight took place in rugged land that gave the difference in elevation needed for firing from a very far distance. The target was still for a long time, giving time for an examination of the environment and ballistic calculations. The weather was perfect with little change in the wind and great visibility. But how could you even perceive a target at that's more than 2 miles away, or 3,200 m? Sir, you may put things on the Barrett M82A1, using high-tech optics that give enough magnification for the target recognition at very far distances, in addition to laser range-finding, its ballistic computers and other tools, ability to hit targets from far away that go beyond what most people can see. General Matthews was starting to understand how complicated Luna's work had done. Technology today had clearly improved sniper skills, more than he knew, but the human part, the expertise needed to put together, combine these systems into a shot that works, was still amazing. "Valdez, how long did it take you to get ready for that shot?" "Sir, the actual engagement needed about 4 hours of getting ready. This involved figuring out the range using a lot of different ways, environmental, keeping an eye on things, figuring out how to shoot, and waiting for the best conditions. The shot was the end result of a lot of planning instead of a random engagement. 4 hours. You keep position for 4 hours to take one shot?" "Yes, sir. Very precise long-range shooting. Shooting takes time and care. Timing. If you rushed the shot, it would have lowered the chance of success to levels that are not acceptable." Lieutenant Colonel Harrison had been writing down notes the whole time. And he looked up with an look of surprise. "General, what she's talking about shows what she can do. Those are more than anything I've seen in normal military training." General Matthews nodded, showing he understood that he was learning about the military, things that were possible at levels of classification he hadn't before accessed. But he was curious, was not at all happy. "I want to see a demonstration, Valdez. Can you show me how precise your equipment can be? Your gear can be used for shooting and training?" Luna hesitated before responding. Demonstration shoots needed a lot of planning and cooperation, safety rules, and she wasn't sure if such a request could be granted using usual routes. "Sir, a demonstration would need the right safety coordinating for range facilities and permission from my chain of command. The distances involved make it problems with logistics that would necessitate planned carefully. I'll take care of the permission. I want to know what sniper capabilities look like when used correctly." General Matthews turned to Lieutenant Colonel Harrison with the kind of look that showed that action needed to be taken right now. "Harrison, I want you to work with control the range and set up a demo. Shoot whatever Staff Sergeant Valdez needs in terms of distance, range, safety protocols and target systems. Make it happen." "Sir, the longest range. We can get here 1,200 m. If she needs 3,200 m to do it right. Demonstration, we will have to employ off-base facilities or work with other buildings. Then work with other people to Installations. I want to see what's possible. Luna had been paying attention to what was being said. With mounting worry. Demonstration. Shoots were big deals that needed a lot of planning and have a lot of responsibility if something went wrong. Sir, if you really want to see a long-range precision demonstration, I would suggest beginning with shorter distances to set a baseline. Skills before trying extreme range of engagements. What distance do you think would be best for an first show? Sir, 1,200 meters would let. Showing how to shoot accurately while staying within their powers. Your safety and logistical limits. Contemporary buildings. General Matthews said it was okay to start with a 1,200-meter demonstration, comprehension. That even this distance would be way too far. Anything he had seen with his own eyes. The demonstration took place 2 days later. Happened at Camp Liberty's long-range facility. General Matthews came with a number of his staff colleagues, all eager to see precision shooting that would help them learn what they can do. That Luna stood for. Luna had spent getting her gear ready in the morning, including her Barrett M82A1, advanced optical systems, environmental monitoring tools and ballistic computing equipment. The process of setting up took almost 2 hours, which shows difficult to get ready for long-range shooting with accuracy. In general, the objective is placed at 1,200 m. The weather is best with less wind and great visibility. I'm eager to show the ability to engage with precision. General Matthews saw through. Luna got comfortable with her binoculars. Her preparation for the shooting position was planned and careful with a lot of measurements and calculations. Before she even looked through the scope of her rifle. Valdez, please explain what. Sir, I'm measuring the wind right now. Speed and direction at different places. Between where I am and the destination. Air. Changes in temperature and density. Change the path of the projectile, hence I need current environmental data for ballistic calculation. Luna looked at a small technological instrument that gave detailed ballistic computations that take the environment into account. Data she had collected. It took for a few minutes, showing the level of getting ready for extreme. Sir, ballistic shooting with precision. I have figured out the solution and am ready to get involved. Luna sat down behind her Barrett, adjusted her scope settings, and began the last part of her shooting. General Matthews watched the sequence through binoculars as she took charge of her breathing and getting ready to shoot. The Barrett's report was so loud that it hurt. Includes hearing protection. The .050 caliber. The round made a loud noise when it hit the muzzle. Could be heard and felt, and the rifle's recoil was rather strong, even though its working muzzle brake system hit center mass, said the range safety officer, who was watching the target through a scope. General Matthews looked closely at the objective. Via his glasses, he saw that Luna's shot was only a few inches away of the center of the target at a distance of 1,200 m. The accuracy was amazing, but he knew that the demonstration was only a small part of her claimed abilities. That was great, Valdez. But you're saying that you can make that exact shot at this distance 3 times? Sir, longer distances make things more difficult. Problems, but the core ideas stay the same. The biggest differences are more sensitive to the environment, with longer flight duration that needs more advanced ballistic calculation. General Matthews was starting to realize that Luna shot 3,200 meters. Showed how modern technology was used. Technology and great human skill. The presentation had shown that he could shoot accurately. Went much further than he had thought it would. Before I thought, I want to see your whole Valdez. All of your service records, including the secret documents. Sir, getting to my full records would Need permission from those higher up than myself. Permission to talk about it. Then I'll get that. Permission. General Matthews spent the next week digging through the red tape of the steps needed to get to Luna's full military documents. What he was a career that read like a group of military legends instead than the record of one service soldier. Luna had been hired to be instruction that is specific to their job while still in basic training that focuses on shooting scores that were higher than anything she had ever seen, that instructors have seen before. Her later military training included schools and programs that most soldiers had no idea existed, training her in ways that pushed the limits of what people could do with precise weapons. Her history of deployments included operations in all of the main war zones where American troops had been fighting in the last 5 years. More. Her missions had a big impact on. Always involves the kind of high-stakes precision shooting that could decide if anything will work or not. All of the operations. The 3,200-meter shot that had caught General Matthews's attention had happened when rescuing hostages. Operation where Luna's accuracy gunfire had gotten rid of a menace that regular forces couldn't deal with. The target had been keeping hostages in a place that made it impossible to do a normal assault. Impossible. And Luna's very long-range capacity had given the only tactical solution. But that shot was simply one entry in a service record that wrote down dozens of similar engagements. Luna had always been given missions that required her unique capabilities, offered answers that no Matthews, another soldier, might deliver. What you found is one of our most important strategic assets, General Patricia Stone said during a secret meeting about Luna's Staff Sergeant Valdez's military record. Shows skills that we don't have. Promote since they offer important tactical benefits when used correctly. Why isn't this soldier being used more at higher levels? Her seem to have more abilities than anything we're now using in standard work. She is being used in the right way. Luna's missions are planned at levels that you don't usually get to, because her missions are for strategic reasons instead of tactical ones. General Matthews started to get it. That Luna was silent at camp Liberty wasn't a waste of great. It was part of a bigger plan for talent. An operational picture that he hadn't. Sir, what kind of things had you not known about before? Of missions need firing at 3,200 meters. What are your skills? The kind of missions where failing isn't an alternative and standard methods won't function. Luna has features that it can fix problems that would normally need a lot more commitments of people and money. General Matthews learned to like something new for the kinds of specific possibilities that were there in the structure of the military. Luna kept up with her regular upkeep of the Barrett M82A1, but Matthews now knew that her portion of quiet preparation was being ready for missions that could have important effects on strategy. 6 months later, Luna was sent on a secret mission that needed exactly the kind of long-range extreme firing with precision that had initially caught General Matthews's eye. The mission was successful due of skills that were there at the crossroads of sophisticated technology and amazing human skill. Luna keeps doing jobs that use her special skills, giving answers to tactical problems that go beyond what most people think is possible, believe is conceivable. Her service record is still mostly secret, yet she effect on military operations goes much more than any one soldier could do. What would ordinarily be expected of them? General Matthews found out that extraordinary qualities often occur in locations you wouldn't imagine, by individuals who know that being quiet and good at what you do matters more than being known by the public. Sometimes the most amazing warriors are the ones who keep their guns clean. in a deliberate way in the corner of the armory, getting ready for operations that most people will never know what happened. Have you ever found out that someone you barely noticed had abilities? It was so much more than you thought? Luna's tale is a reminder that extraordinary talent typically works silently, getting ready. At times when you need extraordinary skill, makes the difference between success and not succeeding. The general, who scarcely looked at cleaning her rifle, the soldier learnt that some badges tell stories about things you've done. Things make us question what we know, what people can do when determination, training, and technology combine at the greatest levels. If you think that extraordinary capability is often right in front of us, tell this tale to someone else. Someone is secretly getting ready for a moment when their unique skills might make a difference between success in the mission and failure in the strategy. Luna Valdez didn't just make an impossible shot. She showed that several soldiers have skills that are real, at the very limit of what people can do, ready to be used when normal. Thanks for your help, but solutions aren't enough. If you appreciate this video, you should watch it. You may subscribe to view more amazing stories like this one.